Welcome to Property Lounge Ladies, where real estate meets real life. We're three women from different markets, different backgrounds, and different experiences coming together to talk about all things real estate, the wins, the challenges, and everything in between.
Yay!
So, teams versus solo, right? Every agent, they hit this moment. Do I join a team or do I go all in myself? And the truth is that this decision is either going to fast track your career or it's going to slow you down. I've seen agents thrive on teams and I've seen agents completely outgrow them. So we're going to talk today about which way should you go?
And I think if we reframe that a little bit and put it into context, because team versus no team or whatever, what you're doing, what I want people to understand is that you're actually you're not choosing the team, you're choosing a business model.
Right.
So that's something that you have to decide. Are you going to plug into an existing business model or are you going to go off and make your own business model? And I think that's like one of the most important things that we could talk about for our listeners is that you are a business owner. Like what kind of business are you going to run? And I think people don't think about that, that's what this is.
Absolutely.
And I'm on a team. And, we can go a little bit into this, but it is kind of an identity trap. And I'm feeling that right now because what happened was I'm not a new realtor. I was in a new area. So I didn't have my own sphere. I didn't have my own contractors. I didn't know all of these things. So I found it very valuable to be on a team. I just feel like you need to go in there with this mindset because you need to also have an exit strategy and be very clear on, where your team ends and where your business begins.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I know Karen and I have similar experiences in terms of that. I've been, on a team leader, but I've never been on a traditional team. And we can talk about that. Carol and I could probably talk about that, to great detail.
Right.
I've never been on
all met because we were on the same team.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
We all were on the same team.
Right. And when I first came into real estate, I was on a local team.
Oh, you were. That's right.
Remember? And then I left that team to join the team that we were all on. So
yes.
And now I'm a solo agent. So
yeah. See, I've never been on a regular traditional team. And people probably that are listening are like, okay, what do you mean? You were on a team, but it wasn't a traditional team. And so we'll get into that in a second. But I personally have never been on a regular team. And now that I've been a team leader and I've had like 13 agents on my team, my stubbornness won't allow me to go backwards. I just can't do it. So I thought about it. I actually thought about it when kind of things I had life changes and circumstances. Yeah. I thought about maybe I just need to go on a team, and I'm like, no, I can't. I can't be anything but the Aponte group.
Team leader already.
I'm a team leader all the way.
Well, there's a lot of benefits of joining a team. There's a lot of benefits. I think that people need to be very clear on their exit strategy and have an understanding of, what they want from that team, how they're going to benefit that team, and really use it as a launch pad because while you are building your business, you are also building somebody else's wealth. And you need, and you should be gaining as much information and experience and knowledge. So you should be getting as much at any point, as much from the team as you're giving because you give up a lot.
Right. So I think one of the things that I found with teams is there is recognition, right? For a newer agent, when you go on appointments, you're allowed to say your team's stats. Right. So if you go on a listing appointment and they say, how many houses have you sold this year? My team and I have sold. So there's a lot of value in that from a newer agent perspective. You know what I'm saying? Until you're like Bianca said, until you have built and you are ready to start looking at other things, there's value in that. At the same time, you are also now accountable to a team lead. Right. And the thing about being accountable to a team lead is they're not going to do the work to build your business.
No.
But they're going to ask you what work you've done to build your business. And
Yeah.
I think that is a disconnect that a lot of agents don't understand. They think when they come in and they go on a team, they're just going to be handed business.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
the sprinkle of leads are just going to come. That's not going to happen. That is never going to happen. It's
and,
not going to happen.
and you know how we say buyer beware?
Right.
Agents beware, because you're going to have teams and team leads that are going to bold face lie to your face and
About everything.
tell you, oh, we're going to give you X, Y, Z and the stars and the moon. And that is just not how real estate works. I
Yeah.
don't care. Like, I don't know, especially in our current 2026 market around the nation. If we were talking 2021, 2022, okay, maybe
Right. Because now you
maybe
have
they got,
such an overflow
yeah,
at that
okay,
point. Yeah.
maybe, but
Yeah.
in
Maybe.
this
Right.
market,
Maybe.
no. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
it's not happening. And think about like how many, like some agents are joining these teams that are like mega teams and stuff. Are they
Right.
do they have that much leads to get, like you're now competing with
Well,
10, 12. I know a
Exactly.
bunch of really big mega teams, but you're still just a kind of a solo agent out there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Right. And
But I think
Yeah.
there is, I feel like there's, it gives you credibility with some of the mega
it
teams to be
does.
able to say you're on that team. So
And
I can see,
branding.
right. For a newer agent, there's benefits to that. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they're going to lie right to your face because
There, yes.
they're not giving you them lead. Listen, you are going to get the bottom of the barrel leads and you're going to have to either sink or swim. And
Yep.
that's really what it's going to come down to.
What
And
Yep.
they're gonna give you is they're gonna give you a lot of open
Education.
houses to sit
Should.
on,
yes,
Opportunity. Yes,
and
that
then
is
you're
true,
gonna
Bianca.
but, I mean, you could also do that as a solo agent, just reach out
right,
to anybody who has a few listings and be like, "Hey, you
right.
had a listing you had an open house last week, they're probably not gonna do one this week. Just say, 'Hey, do you mind if I sit on your open house?'" And do
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
And
And
that's the thing, right? Because what agents need to understand is the reason open houses are important for agents, especially newer agents, is it is a very vital way to build your pipeline.
mhm.
Right? So what newer agents need to understand is it's kind of like a funnel. You have to fill so much in the top and let it trickle out of the bottom, right? So how many phone numbers, emails, how many of those do you have to put in the top before something starts trickling out of the bottom?
Right.
So in the
Mhm.
beginning, you're filling your funnel.
Yep.
And this is where the open houses come in. Because the fastest way to get to the settlement table with a client is on the buyer side.
Mhm.
Because when buyers come along and they're very serious, you can be at the settlement table within 30 to 45 days, right? Where with a seller,
Mhm.
you're at the mercy of how long does it take for the house to sell. So
Right.
there's like a different level there. So that's why doing open houses is so important when you're a new agent. And you hear these new agents, well, I don't want to do that. I heard an agent, they crack me up. I ain't cold calling. I ain't cold calling. That's ridiculous. I'm not door knocking. That's beneath her, right? It's basically what, like, we were every piece of trash on the planet. And then went on to say that what she's doing, she's door knocking, is exactly what she's doing. She's just reframed it in a way to make her feel good about herself. But she's going to people who rented a house a year ago in the MLS and leaving packets on their door like, "Oh, hey, you've been here for a year. Are you ready to buy a house?" So
Mhm.
basically, you're door knocking renters.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have to understand this is a prospecting tool that you're going to want to take
Mhm.
advantage of because it works.
Absolutely.
There's,
So,
you know,
I don't know if any of you have experienced this feeling, like when you are like Carol. I don't know if you joined a team right out the gate.
I did.
You did. Okay.
I did.
I did. I didn't. So I had my license from 2018 to 2019, but I honestly don't even count that as my first year. Like I got my license in August of 18 and
Okay.
I didn't really start doing real estate until August of 19, like legit. I don't count that year. That
Okay.
year I was just figuring out like, okay, the MLS, I got to buy that, do this. Okay. What am I doing? So anyway, I did feel though when I was trying right before that August of 2019, probably like April to August, I would say, I felt like a lone agent, like
Yep.
I didn't have that camaraderie or like I didn't know what I didn't know, right? I didn't know what I didn't have. And then when I got it, when I joined the door knocking challenge with you guys and I ended
Right.
up
Remember
joining the
that?
coaching program
Right.
and then
Right.
I got that whole like thing, that was like a game changer. So I feel like my advice to a new agent is if you decide to do it yourself and hustle and not go out and be part of a team, then you need to at least join a coaching program
100%.
and be part of some sort of network that's
100%.
going to keep you hustling. Because I don't care who you are or how hard you work. Real estate is really, really hard. It's a mind plays tricks on you, on your mind. And you have to surround yourself by like-minded people. And being a part of a team can give you that, but it's not the only way to get it. So
I think it's really hard to find a quality team.
Quality, yes.
Yes, that is going to, and that's really why I'm still on my team, because I really love my team leader and my team members, but I definitely feel like I'm at a point where I have to start thinking of the off ramp, and really focus on building my own brand, which is like I'm on a podcast. Why am I on team?
Yeah. So Bianca,
Yeah.
let me ask you this question, and then Carol, I'm going to ask you the same question. What would you say was, when you're looking at the team that you are now, and you're saying it's a good quality team, if somebody who's listening is looking for a good quality team, what makes your team a good quality team? What stands out to you as being like, okay, this is the right team? Because there's so many like not good teams out there that people.
Yes, some very toxic energy teams. We have great energy. We all support each other. We're all sharing. I don't feel like we're competing against each other. Obviously, I'm not trying to, step on anybody else's, areas or, farms or whatever. But my team leader, when I interviewed Neil Bacchus, when I interviewed him, he's like, he told me, he's like, a team should be a stepping stone. It shouldn't be the end all. And I really liked that he was confident enough to say that. Like, you don't need to be on a team forever. Like, that's not, you should be here to grow. You give up a lot. And he was very cognizant about that. And I really appreciated that honesty. And I feel like, what else? He always encouraged me to focus on building my own brand the whole time, rather than, just market me. And so I think not every team is going to offer that, but I do think that that's something to keep in mind, because the more control that a team has over you, the moment you leave, if they lock down all of the work that you've done until that point, then it's going to be really, really hard to leave. It's going to be like golden handcuffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like you're now trying to create like a new identity for yourself and a new brand, because you've been so busy branding your other team. But you want to know something on the flip side? As a team leader, I actually have decided wholeheartedly that I will never start a team and not be their brand. If you're going to be on my team and I'm going to give you my time and my energy and my education, you're going to be branding a Ponte Group. Like, that's just because I've seen what a revolving door it is. And Carol's shaking her head. I know Carol and I went through this together, like in the trenches of it. And I will never do that again. If you're going to be on my team, you're going to be branding yourself the Aponte Group. You're going to have my picture on your sold buyer deals. I mean, that might sound terrible, but it's just I learned from my own experiences of being like, oh yeah, you could brand yourself, and I want you to be the to do X, Y, to do it, and you do your thing. Oh yeah, you give them all of that, you pour into them, and bye-bye, because I've just learned, and now I'm doing my own thing. So I've come to learn that there are some people that just want to be on a team. There are some people that just don't want to do their own thing, that appreciate and value just being on a team, and that is who they are. They are not the leader of the packs. They are I don't want to call them sheep, followers, whatever you want to call it. And it's not a bad thing. It's just that's just their personality.
I would have
I can tell you, I've seen
supporting members.
Well, I've seen I've seen that revolving door, and
Uh-huh.
I can tell you, there's been very few other people other than myself. I'm not saying everybody, but
Uh-huh.
a lot of people, I'm for a long time was the only one that showed up every day. Like I
Right.
show up every day. Like I am a
Be
realtor. I am
Don't bang on your thing, Bianca, the
so
sound.
sorry.
I'm the
I
sound check
show
girl.
up every day, and a lot of people just show up every now and then, they wonder why they're not successful, and, there's a lot of those realtors, they're a
Mhm.
dime a dozen, and that's why so many people don't make it in this industry to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. Carol, what about you? Like, so you joined a team
I did.
and right out the gate, and
Right.
I somehow remember there being some drama.
Always. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because the team lead was like a really nice guy, and he was the
Mhm.
reason that
I
I
remember
had
that.
won. Right. I remember, you know what I mean? Like just a
Mhm.
genuinely nice guy, right?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, after I was on the team, I found it difficult to get any help with anything, which is
Mhm.
how I ended up finding my coaching program because I
Mhm.
was in like this vicious cycle where I would call and nobody would answer the phone. Now you're
Mm.
supposed to be my team lead and you won't even pick up the phone.
Right.
So and if they did, it was, "Oh, call this person." So they would direct me to call somebody else on the team. And so I would call that person, and that person was like, "I don't feel comfortable answering that question." And I swear the person they always deferred me to was the most difficult, combative, just just unwilling to help, didn't care about anything but themselves. Like, it was so ridiculous trying to deal with
Right.
this person. I was absolutely floored. And so it's like the benefits that I had, and I only stayed on that team for what, 8 months? Like I
Mhm.
knew listen, when I called, I had a listing. This was so crazy. I'm a new agent. I've had my license maybe 60 days and I roll in with a listing agreement. You would think, right? Not only did I roll in at a listing agreement, it was a piece of land, but I still listed my first listing was a listing agreement for 10%. Okay?
Yep.
You would have thought that that would have shown this person, like, hey, I better pay attention to this girl. She's a little hustler. No, 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 no. Still getting deferred. Defers me over to the other person. I, at this point, am being told I'm not allowed to do my own paperwork. Okay. I have to work with this person who else is on the team, who is the most difficult individual. 1 week later, I still did not have listing paperwork.
Mm.
An entire week has gone by and I'm trying to talk to this client and I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm just working out the paperwork." And thank God he was patient with me. I finally ended up having to go to the broker. Okay. And I was like, "Hey man, I need help." Like, and he was like, "Wait a minute, you took a like, he's like, "Wow, you took a listing. Congratulations." Like all the things his team didn't care about.
You're
So
like, "A
not
week ago, fool, can somebody
yeah,
help me?"
Oh
bro.
my
You know what
god.
I mean? So, and I told him, I said, "Listen, I never, she won't write the listing agreement." And he looked at me. It's funny, I still cross paths with this man. I just crossed paths with him a couple weeks ago. Just a really nice guy. When he looked at me that day, I could see in his face just like the absolute rage that here he is with a new agent in front of him. I've only had my license for 60 days. I'm rolling in with a listing and I can't get my own team to help me write the freaking listing agreement. He
Mhm.
sat me down in front of a computer and showed me how to do the paperwork. Okay. My broker, I had to go to my darn broker to get that answer. So he helps me with the paperwork. I take it down to the client to get it signed. I get a wet signature. Doesn't she send me? So now I email the listing paperwork out and then she sends me paperwork she wrote like 2 days later. Do you live under a rock? Like, what are you doing? So, and of course you can't say anything because these two are related. So if you say
Mhm.
anything about her, the team lead is not happy. And right then and there, I'm like, okay, I got a problem. Right now I know I got a problem. Same transaction, piece of land. I end up getting the buyer because it's a $17,000 piece of land. And I guess a lot of agents felt like they were too good to work for that little bit of money. Fine, no problem. I would love to do both sides because it's a learning experience. Again, I'm a newer agent. Tell me why the day before settlement, I still now, and I'm using the attorney. They were like, "This is the best attorney in the state." This guy sucked. Okay. So I cannot get this paralegal to respond to me. Now I allegedly have closing the next day. I have two, not one, but both clients on my phone. I have a buyer. Hey, how much do I have to get this certified check for? And I have a seller. Hey, are we good to go? Like, what time am I supposed to be there? Blah, 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 blah. And I can't get the attorney to respond to me. So I call this team lead, who of course doesn't answer. So then I call hey, defer me off to this person. And I explained to her what's going on. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, do I drive down to the attorney's office and just kind of ask them in person? Like, I can't get her. This man called me back within minutes. And when I tell you what he said to me in that moment, I was only on this team for less than 90 days. I knew in that moment I was leaving this team. He calls me back with an attitude. Now, his agent is unable to get the attorney's office to respond to her for a closing the following day with no information being given to the buyer about how much a certified check has to be, none of the things. This man had the audacity to call me and tell me I needed to lower my expectations.
Indeed. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, would be an example of not a good team.
Exactly.
that would be considered the con of joining a not a good team. But so something I had picked up on something that Bianca said earlier. I don't know if you picked up on it, Carol. She said I interviewed her, and it was her, and she named her team lead. That's the thing that I think agents also need to remember is like, you are interviewing them. They aren't interviewing you. This is not like the corporate 9-to-5 job. You're just like you're interviewing your broker. You're interviewing your team lead. Most team leads want as many agents that they can. Most team leads. I've decided moving forward, not only are you going to brand me, but I'm only having 2 agents, 3 at the most, and I'm done.
And I'm done.
I'm maxed out. I don't want 13 agents ever again. I promise. Never, ever.
It's a lot of work.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But what I would,
that's why it's important, like she said, to interview.
Piggybacking on that, and this just came to me, I would go as far as maybe interviewing somebody who was at the team. Or maybe a few people who had left the team, because that's another thing. Joining a team is one thing. Leaving is completely different.
Yeah,
Leaving
absolutely.
is completely different. I've heard some stories about, people generally on great teams, on big, successful teams and everything. The moment you want to leave, wow. I've heard some crazy shit.
But you know what? I have to defend some of those crazy stories, man. Because let me just tell you, I can actually just start getting my blood boiling over some situations that I've been in. Carol, what was that guy's name?
Which one?
I hope he's listening. I hope he listens to this podcast. He's Evan.
Was he the guy who wanted? Which one?
He was like the pretty boy. He had like this 90210 vibe. He joined my team and he was pissed off when I wasn't sitting there at 10 o'clock at night walking after I had already walked him through this contract. Like I already did, Carol, like a couple times. I think his name was Evan. Anyway, it was an awful situation. It was because of him that I ended up making videos because I got freaking tired of repeating myself. So I made videos on this is how you write a buyer contract. And I went through it just as if I was on Zoom with you, going through line by line what you need, going through all the paperwork. And then as each agent came by, I started, I need to do this. I created checklists. Here's all the paperwork you need. I created a drive. You go into the Aponte Group Drive. You got all that you need right here. This boy wanted me to he was pissed off that it was like 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday that I was not available. And he started talking shit about me to my transaction coordinator, who was my friend, that he didn't know she was my friend. He just thought she was some Joe Schmo transaction coordinator. I'm like, are you kidding me? Anyway, my point is that he got his first deal and then he left. And then I had another agent who I had to go toe to toe with my broker company, who she went under contract and she was fighting with having to give me a commission split because she didn't like the fact that part of her split went to the team mentor. I had a team mentor because my team was too big. I couldn't, I shared some of that, that's my job, not your job to decide where my money goes.
You know what cracks me up the most about all of that?
She didn't think that agent deserved it because that agent, the team mentor, happened to not help her on the transaction. And so she was trying to save herself 10% by fighting that agent shouldn't get anything, who was it was my team structure, my team business. You get what I'm saying? She had the nerve and the audacity. Oh my
wow.
God.
That's so funny.
New
Then she
agents,
tried giving me the sob story of her she's
brother,
a single
cousins, uncles, fish
mom.
died. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh
How
my
come
God.
it always ends up story time on
I'm
Yeah, let
our
me say,
podcast.
I want to say,
So
can I put this disclaimer out? Dear agents, new, old, it doesn't matter. Any lie that you're going to come up with and try to tell another agent in this industry has already been said. We've already heard it. You're not special. You didn't think of anything magical. You didn't think of the elixir lie. It's all
right.
BS. We know it's BS.
Yep.
Everybody you're saying that to knows that you are lying, and in our heads, we're laughing at you because
Yep.
you're liar number 10,000 with this same BS story. Nobody wants to hear it.
Yep.
Nobody. Nobody wants to hear it.
Well, you know what? I had a lot of great agents on my team too. It's not all been bad. Like I would
yeah,
say,
I
I would
mean,
say the majority of them have been great. There was just really those two like kind of nightmares that I had out of all the
well,
agents that I've had on my team. And
at
I've
the
had
end of the day, you gotta thank Pretty Boy Evan for like your organization skills now because
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you gotta,
yeah,
Yep,
fair.
Pretty Boy Evan taught me a lot. And
yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, I guess I said all that to say, Bianca, because you were saying about getting off the team and like onboarding is always so easy, but then offboarding is like sometimes you can go through hell. And I heard some horror stories about agents who have been locked in, like when they join the team, they know that they are locked into like a 1-year contract, with that team. And I always had the mentality like, if you're not happy on my team, I'm probably not going to be happy having you on my team, right? So go on your merry way. But at the same time, I've also toyed with the fact and struggled, but you pour so much into these agents. They do deal 1, 2, 3, and then they go as a solo agent. So they basically like
They're
kind of
using you.
utilize. They're using you for the
This is
education.
why,
Some smart agents are like, let me find
right,
myself a team
right.
a team leader that's going to pour into me. I'm going to do my first
Well,
3
that's
deals and
why
then I'm
a
going to
lot
go
of the
on my
splits
way.
are so high because it's painful to have to give up that split all the time.
I struggle with this because first of all, one of the things that I have always found so funny is when new agents want to cry about the split. You
I
are
know. Yeah.
upset over fake money. You don't even have a client. You don't even
Yeah.
have one entry into your CRM, and you're
Yeah.
over here stressed out over fake money.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say
Listen,
this.
80%, 100%, 50% of zero is always
of
zero,
zero.
honey.
Right?
Like, first get a client, then we
Literally,
talk.
girl, you
Yeah.
don't even have a post-it with half a phone number on it, and you're crying over what you might have to give your team lead if you actually get a transaction. And I will say this
You're
to
crying over
every
fake money.
single, you know what I mean? You're arguing over fake money.
I'm going to write that. I'm writing that down because the next time I start a team and they give me any shit about having
Right.
a 40% split, you're crying over. I
You're
wrote this.
crying over fake money. What
Yeah.
40% of what, my
On the
guy?
other hand, can we not shit on, like, we're shitting on all the new agents all the time. Can we not
Well,
shit on that? Like, I understand it's
I know.
very
I
expensive
agree.
to get your license. It's
right.
very expensive. So, like, you want to come into this, like, I need to make some money. I need
Yes.
to,
Right.
I
And
got to
here's the
put
thing.
gas in my
We
car.
all
Like,
understand
it
that,
gets
right?
really expensive really quickly. So I
Yes.
understand the crocodile tears about, crying over fake money.
You don't want to
But,
cry in front of me.
it's a
You,
real thing. So that's why we're
I
trying to
know.
educate you all. You got to
Yes.
think about these things. These are things that you got to think about and start from a position of power
right.
Yes.
rather
Yep.
than you're chasing a golden goose and you're never going to get there and you're never,
Right. Right.
you're
And let me
you're going
tell
to
you,
give up you're going to give up way too much trying to be desperate.
Yeah.
if you cry in front of me, I promise you ain't gonna like the way that goes.
I know.
I don't care. I don't, and I'm not trying to be cold or cruel or ignorant or any of those things. I don't know how to, I don't care.
Yeah.
We all have a story. We've all had hard times. We've all been down the same road. You're not the first person on this path.
Carol, You know what you need to do? You need to just open up, like, a bumper sticker store.
Right.
Like, you have
You ain't
so
special.
many.
Right. Yeah. You're not special. You're not the only
You're not
person. Like, nobody
special.
cares. Nobody
Care.
cares.
I got
Everybody's
I
got
don't
trauma.
care.
I
Nobody
got a
cares.
Cricut. I have a Cricut machine where I can make vinyls. I could make some bumper
It's
stickers for
fine.
you, Farrell.
But I will say this. So for a new agent, though, the ability to be successful is right within your reach.
Yeah.
And once you have your license, you are going to spend a lot of money to get your license, to get the MLS set up, to get the system set up that you're going to need. And so you want to be smart about how you move. Okay. And so even if you do decide to go on a team, you want to be smart about that, because everything Bianca
Uh-huh.
said is true. Everything Paula said is true. The minute you try to leave that team, they're going to lock you down. So you want
Yeah.
to make sure you've got your own CRM. You want to make sure you have your client's information in a separate CRM, because that brokerage is good. And I don't care what anybody tells you. The minute you tell that broker you're leaving, they're locking you out.
Yeah.
That's one that you won't even make it back to that desk, and you'll be locked out, because they don't want you in there. And they will tell you contractually that's their client. They don't care how
Yeah.
much prospecting you did to get it.
Oh, and they
They
will
don't
hunt you
care.
down. They will
And
hunt
they
you
will
down
hunt
for
you down. They
years.
do not. It could be your mom, and it's their client. They
Yeah.
do not care. So you want to be very mindful of that. And it's okay if you decide, hey, you know what? Maybe I do want to join Keller Williams, or Coldwell Bank, or maybe I do want to join them because I would like to try and get guidance in what I'm doing. As long as you go in understanding that by guidance, you mean self-help readily available, that's what you need to understand. There's nobody who's going to sit down with you kind of one-on-one per se through everything. It's a lot of self-help that's available to you. Some of them are doing like Paula, you did videos and Neil sounds like a great team lead if you're in the Maryland area, hit Bianca up. Because again, everything is done with the intention of you growing. And
Yep.
so how do you want to grow? Do you want to grow as part of a team? Do you want to grow on a team with the intentions of moving forward? You kind of do want to have a plan, just like Bianca said. And it's okay. Like, I thought I was coming in to go on a team because I work very well on a team. I'm a very team-driven person. I always have been. So I transitioned from one team to another. Both teams didn't work out for me. Now I'm a solo agent and I'm more successful than I've been.
Can
So
I add something to everything
yeah,
that you said?
yeah,
I
please.
find it very energizing. Like, real estate can be a very solitary, very lonely job.
Yeah.
I find it very invigorating to be around high producers.
Mm-hmm.
Neil happens to be a very high producer. He
Mm-hmm.
has and even at his level, he has coaches. He's always, he's
Right.
in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he leaves at 6, and he's working the entire time. So me being in proximity to that, and I would say that that's another thing that I would recommend. How close are you going to be? How much are they going to share with you? Maybe you want to be on a smaller team so you actually have access to that person
Right.
who, you are going to be able to hear their conversations, pick up things, and they're going to actually share things with you, rather than more of a corporate structure where you're
Right.
just going to, be driving around
Mhm.
opening doors and,
Right.
like, if
That's true.
you can pick up somebody at an open house, but that's not really anything. That's not the meat and potatoes of, how you're going to build your business. So it's
Right.
like, you just really need to think about, what you're benefiting from, and what you are in, what you have access to as far as the
Right.
information and the
Right.
knowledge, and, how things are working.
Absolutely.
I would, that's very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm very lucky. I have all of that,
That
and
is
yet,
nice.
I feel like I need to
Yeah.
start,
Can I add
getting ready
also
to
that
spread my wings.
can I add also that I think one of the things that agents should try to realize is that when you're a newer agent and you're on a team and you start fighting with them about the split before you've even finished that transaction, I promise you there are things that you're not being taught, right? Because your team lead's checking out. They know the minute you come in there talking about, oh, well, I don't think they should get 10% of my money. First of all, it ain't your money. It's the brokerage's money. Okay. So go back and read your contracts. But there's a lot of things that you have to learn, not only during the transaction but also after. How do you manage everything after? So, and it's unfortunate because I've seen these agents and then they run away. And I always laugh to myself because I think for a couple of $100, you just missed out on $1,000 lessons, right? So you were so busy chasing the dollar, you missed the thousands.
Yep.
And that's a poor man's mindset.
Yeah.
So you
So,
know what I mean? There's a
yeah.
disconnect.
So also, you know what speaking of money, as a real estate agent, we work for free until we actually close a deal, right? You
Yes.
spend how many months maybe in like when you're first starting, it might take you 3 months, 6 months to actually close your first transaction. How many clients do you potentially work with, show houses to, as maybe if you're starting out as a buyer's agent, but nothing happens. They're just tire kickers or whatever it might be, right? You're working for free. Deals fall apart. You're working for free when they do. As a team leader, you are also working for free for your agents on your team until they close a deal.
Yes,
So
100%.
yeah, so that is something that I think agents need to understand, is that in this business, in this line of work, you're expecting to like not have to give so much to that person, but how much time are they going to be taking pouring into you until you actually they've actually earned their paycheck for what they've done, you know? I mean, it takes a minute. So
I think, and I hate to say it, but here's the thing, man. 70% of realtors fail in the first 2 years. Don't
exactly.
don't be the 70%, because the
Yep.
70% are the people who are over here arguing about the 10% going to the
Yeah.
mentor.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the 70%. You want to be
Correct.
the
Yep.
30%. The
Yep.
30% understand that the money's going to come. You got to put the work in, right? And so don't look at the first transaction. Look at the first year
Yeah.
and see what you can do,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Try
Good
to
advice.
try to stand back and try to look at a bigger picture, so to speak. And listen, man, I get it. Look, I get it. You know what I mean? It's easy. You think it's easy for somebody to say that because we're not the ones in your shoes. And I promise you, every person sitting right here, right now, have been in your shoes. Broke as a
Absolutely.
mofo, right? Broke
Yep.
as a
Yep.
mofo. Order
Yep.
some noodles for dinner, right?
Yep.
Order the noodles for 19 cents out of the dollar store, right? When the dollar store was still the dollar store.
Yep.
Dang,
Right,
what is it
right.
now? Like 125,
Like, what do you
150?
mean, do I want to roll with that? Who can afford that? I don't want to roll with that. You know what I mean? I'm lucky I got a bowl I can make this in. We've all been there, you
Yeah.
know, and that's I think what we really want to impress on them is like, we've been where you are, and I promise you everything that we're trying to share is from a place to help you not make the same mistakes we made and understand a little better as you walk down the path how to figure out what steps are right for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know?
And ladies, something we didn't do at the beginning
Mhm,
before we wrap up. Can we tell
mhm.
everybody where to find us?
Oh, you
Bianca,
can
how do
find
we
I'm
Oh,
Carol
go
Faye.
ahead. Carol
You can
Faye?
find me. I am licensed in Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, and I live in Delaware.
How can they find you on social media, Carol?
Carol Faye, you can really just search Carol Faye Realtor and I'll come up on the socials. You'll find me on
Cool.
Instagram, TikTok, and then on Facebook, obviously, because
Cool.
I'm old. Because I'm old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm on the Facey books.
And Bianca?
I am in Maryland. I do Maryland, D.C., Virginia, and I'm licensed in Florida as well. And you can find me at Bianca Salas Official. And I just joined TikTok like
Oh
today.
my God,
Finally, I
congratulations.
just didn't want the apps, like so many things, but I
Yeah.
did. I joined. I'm on there, and
Woo.
you will find me at
Awesome.
Bianca
Awesome.
Salas Official.
Girls, can I just add this real quick? I just got my name as a .com.
Oh,
CarolFaye.com.
congratulations.
I am building my website. Somebody bought my name. Like, what a bunch of buttheads. Somebody bought my name, I guess, when I became a realtor. That's another thing, new realtors, if you decide that you're going to do this,
Yeah.
buyyourname.com.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's people who buy them and then try to sell them to you.
And after all this ordeal with her trying to find her, there's also a .homes that we didn't know about. So you could
Right.
find if your .com is taken, you could do, for example,
Try a .homes. Yeah.
BiancaSalas.homes.
Oh,
And
good to
that is
know.
that's a good alternate website
Awesome.
for realtors. Yeah.
Awesome.
What
Awesome.
about you, Paula? Where can we find you?
You can find me Paula Marie Aponte everywhere on social media. I am on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the places. So
All
yeah,
the things.
you can find me there, paulamariaponte.com. I do have that. So yeah, come
We
check.
were so serious today. I feel like the pre-recording was juicier.
Right.
We gotta start rolling a little
Right.
sooner.
Yeah.
But thank you all.
That's
Thank you all
fun.
for joining us.
Yes.
Yep.
Please let us know if you have something to add to the conversation.
Or if
Yes.
there's
We
a
love your
topic that you
feedback.
would like to hear our perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, signing off.